guys, welcome back to Freeze Take. I have got plenty lined up for you in this episode, and it's all about NFL free agency. There have been some big moves in just the first few days, and probably the most exciting free agency in recent memory. So I'm going to count down the top 3 teams that came out winners. First up, with just one major move, the Seattle Seahawks kick off my top 3. In a trade with the Saints, the Seahawks gave up center Max Unger and a few draft picks for tight end Jimmy Graham. Yes, Jimmy Graham, the best tight end in the league, the guy who's averaged 11.5 touchdowns over the last 4 years and at 16 in 2013. That makes him by far the best receiving target that Russell Wilson has ever played with, which means this offense is instantly better. Now, the Seahawks offense struggled at times in the red zone, most notably in the Super Bowl with that terrible play call. But now with the addition of Jimmy Graham, he diversifies that offense. He gives Marshawn Lynch more room to work with in the running game. And Marshawn Lynch paired up with Jimmy Graham in the red zone, that's a deadly duo. Graham is pretty much a big body receiver that can go across the middle or stick to those short intermediate routes and move the chains. More importantly, he's going to create so much matchup problems all day. There's no other player on this roster that provides that kind of dynamic on the offensive end. And Wilson must be ecstatic because this is the first time he's had a legit top-tier target on the receiving end. My number 2 team is the most active team in free agency thus far, the New York Jets. Let's start with their secondary. Had one of the worst secondaries in the league last year. So what do? They go out and get one of the best cornerbacks in the league, Darrelle Revis. Now, they paid a hefty price for him, $70 million over 5 years, but sometimes you got to go big. You need a game changer. When you factor in they took away one of the best players on their division rival and added him to their own roster, that is a huge win. Not just that, they add 2 more very good corners, Antonio Cromartie, a guy who played alongside Darrelle Revis in his first stint with the Jets, and Buster Skrine, an inside corner that'll match up well with just about any slot receiver in the league. So all of a sudden, the Jets went from fielding one of the worst secondaries in the league to quite possibly one of the best. That's a win. But the Jets didn't stop there. They said, we want to get better at the wide receiver position. Yeah, we've got Percy Harvin. He's very good, but apparently not good enough because they released him to make room for Brandon Marshall, one of the best wide receivers in the league and a top free agent, and in my opinion, an upgrade because he's taller, more versatile, more traditional wideout, and he can actually be an every down receiver. And they got him at $10 million cheaper, so that's always a win. So you're probably thinking, wait, the Jets got a top cornerback, 2 very good cornerbacks, and a top wideout. Why are they not number 1 in your list? Well, because the Jets are still working with a very mediocre quarterback situation. Yes, they got Ryan Fitzpatrick to replace Geno Smith, and that is an upgrade, I will say that, because Geno has struggled tremendously in that Jets offense. He has more interceptions than he does touchdowns, but Ryan Fitzpatrick is not a quarterback that's going to get you to the Super Bowl or win you a Super Bowl. So I will say, I think the Jets are using Fitzpatrick as a placeholder for now. They do have that number 6 pick in the draft, and if Marcus Mariota falls to number 6, they're going to grab him. And my number 1 team is the Indianapolis Colts. No, they didn't make the most sexy moves, but I do think this team, more than any other team in free agency, put themselves in the best position to win now. That defensive front got dominated last year against the Patriots in that AFC Championship. So they go out and they get Trent Cole, former Eagle, great pass rusher, one of the top 10 pass rushers in that 3-4 defense last year. And you pair him up alongside possibly a healthy Mathis, and you've got an extra pass rusher. This guy's a great first step, and he's quick around the corners. He's a solid situational pass rusher, and you can never have too many pass rushers, especially on this Colts defense. He had 6.5 sacks last year with the Eagles, and that wasn't a diminished role. It's going to be interesting to see how much better he can make this Colts defense. They also acquired defensive tackle Kendall Langford. Good for depth, solid rotational player, but if he's out there starting, you're still going to have holes on that defensive front. He is a guy that's comfortable playing that 3-4 style defense. Not so good pass rusher, is good stopping the run. We all know they had trouble stopping the run against the Pats last year. So they have upgraded on the defensive end. On to the more splashy moves for the Colts. They signed former Texans wide receiver Andre Johnson to a 3-year, $21 million contract. Not that they need any more guys on the receiving end, but Johnson is a great grab for the Colts. He is an aging receiver on the downside of his career, but pair him up against the best quarterback he's ever had in Andrew Luck, and we could see a serious resurgence in this guy's production level. And with Moncrief, Carter, and Hilton, this is a well-rounded receiving corps. They're big, they're strong, they're quick and speedy. Johnson can be that possession receiver that moves the chains and plays underneath, while Moncrief and Hilton blow the top off of defenses. Scary sight for any defense in the league. But Vontae Davis can rest assured he no longer has to line up against Andre Johnson. The Colts also pick up former 49ers running back Frank Gore and sign him to a 3-year, $12 million contract. Aging veteran, but still a very solid running back and a great complementary piece to Andrew Luck. Now, Gore comes in averaging about 4 yards per game. No one expects the Colts to become a running team, but he can help balance that offensive attack and take some of the pressure off of Andrew Luck. He is running behind an offensive line that isn't the best at blocking in the running game, but he has made a career out of finding those seams and running between the tackle. He's a great pass blocker. He's also good at catching the ball out of the backfield. Overall, a very good upgrade over Trent Richardson. Those are my top 3 winners of the NFL free agency thus far, and the Colts come out on top because they got so much better on the offensive end. They addressed some of their defensive needs, and they're able to almost exclusively focus on the defensive end when it comes to the draft. Let me throw in an honorable mention for you. The Eagles. I know everyone is looking around thinking, what the heck is Chip Kelly doing? He's made some questionable moves, especially with the Sam Bradford, Nick Foles trade, and they just landed one of the most coveted free agents in the league and pried him away from a division rival, DeMarco Murray. That officially puts them in the win column for me. Now, my losers, I hate to call them losers because they're the Patriots. They've made a formula out of this. They get rid of everyone except Tom Brady because everyone is expendable. Well, they just lost their top 2 cornerbacks, Brandon Browner and Darrelle Revis. What is their secondary going to look like next year? Thank you guys for tuning in to this episode of Freeze Take. Like, comment, let me know what you think, and subscribe.